Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Ferrari at Tampa Bay because we have a very special car. This is a 2017 Porsche 911 Turbo, obviously convertible. But before we dive into this iconic car from Germany, let's talk a little bit about the history of the 911. 911 first hit the streets all the way back in 1963. Here's a little fun fact for you. That's also the year of the C2, the first year of the C2 Corvette. The split window was 1963. Obviously, two totally different cars, but with the same intention and purpose to be the world's best sports car. Now, what's fascinating about the 911 is that technically, it should not really work. That rear engine, even on this 2017 911 Turbo, is past the rear axle. Because of all that extra weight, it's very unique handling characteristics around the track, around your favorite twisty roads. First year of the 911 Turbo was 1975. Now what's interesting, that was not for the United States though. Here in the good old US of A, we didn't get our first 911 Turbo until a year later in 1976. That was known as the Porsche 930. Fast forward to 2017. 2017 was a big year because this was the first year of this setup on a 911 Turbo. We're looking at well over 500 horsepower. And the wonderful news is, whether you got a Turbo S or standard turbo, you still had the same mind-blowing 0 to 60 speed, which we're gonna get to in a little bit. So let's go ahead, dive into this 911 Turbo and see really, is it that supercar worthy performance in a convertible sports car? Right off the bat, the styling. You have to be living under a rock or in a closet somewhere for the last 100 years to not know that this is a 911. That's one of the things that I love about the design. It's been more of an evolution rather than a revolution. So you can see we now have oval shaped headlights. On that first 1963 911, they were round, but still same traditional shape. Little oval isn't gonna kill anybody. Of course, you're gonna get full LED headlights, LED daytime running lamps, and turn signals. I love the nice finish on the inside. It's like a flat silver. You drop down, you got some flat black and all functionality. Now remember, engine is out back, all the cooling takes part up front. So all of this is gonna be flowing air to all those coolers to keep that flat six twin turbocharged engine nice and within operating temperature to give you all that great performance. As we come across the front, I love the color of this 911. It's known as Guards Red. It's probably one of the most classic 911 colors of all time. I don't know if you've seen that movie 16 Candles. Jake at the end standing in front of his 944 Turbo, that was Guards Red. But I love the look of the Porsche logo, those German colors, and just super clean. No sharp edges on this 911. The way they integrate your front lip spoiler nicely into the front fascia. Of course, all this is going to be functioning. And then when we get up onto the frunk, remember, there's a trunk up here, front mounted trunk. We like to call it a frunk. You're going to have that storage capability at the front end of the business. As we come around, just those fenders. One thing I realized the first time I drove a 911 was that it makes sense. The way the fenders are shaped gives you perfect reference points as you're apexing around your favorite racetrack. Now, when we get to the wheel and tire setup on here, you're gonna have these bright silver, it's like a metallic silver wheel. Up front, we have a 20-inch wheel. Really love the design, super clean. You got your Porsche crest, and then check out those massive Brembo calipers, nice bright red with the Porsche script there. Really looks super spot on the money. Rotors are fully cross-drilled, ventilated, and they're two-piece. So you're gonna have that ability to dissipate heat and have maximum stopping capability, because wait until you hear the performance numbers, you're gonna want heavy-duty braking capability. And that's what's crazy about this thing. Now, another thing to realize, Porsche 911 Turbos, unlike the original one back in 1975 and ours in 1976, these are all-wheel drive. So you're gonna get traction to the ground, all four corners wrapped in these beautiful Pirelli P0 tires at the 35 series sidewall up front. Now going into the fender, super clean. You have your 911 Turbo badging, tastefully done on the doors. And then I like this nice side sill extension really just kind of goes with the flow as you get to the back. Now, I remember as a kid, you always knew a 911 turbo because of how flared out the rear fenders are. Same thing here, nice rear flared out fender look. It seems that all 911s have switched to that today, but still on the 911 turbo, looks great. You're gonna have these functional air intakes, one on each side. And then when we look at the rear wheel setup, it's still a 20-inch wheel. We're looking at 305, so a little bit meatier tire at the rear. You're still gonna get a 4-piston caliper and a rotor the size of a Domino's pizza at the back. Usually they go a little bit smaller, but still maximum capability when it comes to braking. Underneath all of this is going to be a nice limited slip diff at both ends to get that power to the ground. And then when we get to the tail end of the business, you have that larger spoiler. That's always been a sign of the 911 turbo. The original one had that big whale tail. This portion of the spoiler is actually active. So at speed, it will raise and lower. Really love the way they did the engine cover with the beautiful venting. You got your vertical gloss slots, and then you have the flat black horizontal. We drop down, you got that iconic name, Porsche. So much history. Guess what? No other manufacturer has won more 24-hour Le Mans wins than Porsche. That's why there's no substitute. Drop that down. Simple on the diffuser. I'm gonna zonk it. I wish that it had a little bit more aggressive look to the rear diffuser, but awesome. Quad tip exhaust. The way it fits nicely in with the bodywork looks really slick. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop this engine cover and take a look at what's underneath powering this 911 turbo. All right, guys, we got the engine cover lifted up. The sad news is there's not much to see in the Porsche 911 of the 21st century like the good old days. But underneath those cooling fans and intakes and everything, that's gonna be that 3.8 liter flat 6 engine. So if you like your Subaru WRX and STI, this has the same engine layout. It's a flat 6. In your STI, you get a flat 4. Twin turbocharged, 540 horsepower, 486 pound-feet of torque. It's all gonna be mated to a fast-shifting PDK 7-speed automatic dual-clutch transmission, all-wheel drive. This car weighs in 3,671 pounds. MPGs, 19 in the city, 24 on the highway. Here's the crazy news. 0 to 60, 2.8 seconds, quarter mile, 10.7 at 129 miles an hour, and a top speed of 198 miles an hour. This is what I'm talking about. This is a sports car, but those numbers are definitely Ferrari supercar territory. Why don't we go ahead? If you're ready, I'm definitely ready. Let's fire up this 911 turbo and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're in the 2017 Porsche 911 Turbo. Probably one of the most classic color combinations. I know with a Ferrari red with the tan interior, but the guards red in this tan interior works well. I personally would have went for all black, but you know what? In a convertible, your backside's probably gonna like you a little bit more having the lighter color. Now, I know you're wondering, well, Joe, this is a sports car. It's got that supercar performance. How much is this one? What are they asking? Well, it only has a tick above 10,000 miles on it, and they're asking $136,900 for it. Just to put in perspective, MSRP at the time it was new was over $190,000. So just to put that into perspective for you, but let's see what you get for the money. Door panels, absolutely drop dead stunning. I love the dark leather up top, the tan stitching, contrasts nicely with the tan leather. You have a little bit of silver trim, very elegant. Nice little pocket there. It opens up for a chocolate Twinkie. You got your front pocket up there for a couple more German Twinkies. This one has the optional Bose sound system, but you know what? Being 3 years old, it shows no wear. That beautiful leather, the stitch work, the silver trim, very nice. Look at that, you press this, look what we got. Your cup holders, put your super big gulp in there, look at that, clank, clank, clank. You put it back, hide it up. This is smart engineering by Porsche. You hide everything so clean. We get to the infotainment system. Of course, you got your chrono clock up there. You drop down, you got your 8-inch infotainment system. Really nice navigation, super clear, Apple CarPlay, which is wonderful. You could rock out to some Run DMC with your CDs right here. Dual climate control, heated seats and ventilated seats. Expect the best from Porsche. Look at how slim and trim this is. Really, the layout looks like the older Porsches. I love the way not much has changed. The things that have changed, just a little bit to say that this is a car from the 21st century. This is going to control that 7-speed DCT. Porsche calls it a PDK. So if you hear somebody say PDK, don't think that they're talking about something different. That's just Porsche's name for their 7-speed DCT. I like the 911 here. We have a couple buttons so you can adjust the stiffness of the suspension because you have adaptive dampers all four corners. And then of course, to raise and lower the top, surprisingly quite a bit of dead buttons on a 911 turbo. So that's gonna be a zonk for me. This little guy right here, there's your 12 volt. There's no USB up top. Key fob, it looks like the shape of a 911. I love it. Love the buttons. You got the Porsche crest there, not too thick. And like I said, it looks like a 911. Look at that, I just won Le Mans. When it comes to the armrests, you lift it up, you got a USB in here, and you could probably fill this up with Skittles. My advice is go Skittles instead of M&Ms, because if you have the top down, you want to see the rainbow and taste the rainbow. Seats, simple, clean, love them. There's like no wear on them. They literally look brand new, even with 10,000 miles on it. Love the material, just enough bolstering, the turbo badge on the side still there, and of course you're gonna get full power assist for both the passenger and the driver. Rear seats, you really gotta be a kid. You gotta be about 6 years old. I'm not getting back there. You could get back there and I'll take you for a spin, but you're pretty much gonna wanna be either 3 feet tall or 6 years old. Come over here where the big boys play behind the wheel of this 911 Turbo. All right guys, business time. Like I was saying, this is where the big boys get the job done. You got your turbo badge, 2 memory seat settings for the driver, so you can let somebody borrow your 911 Turbo. I wouldn't do it, but you could do it. Here's the interesting thing. So I showed you the key fob, but you actually have to hand start. Instead of pushing a button, you're actually twisting this to start it up, just like as if it was a key. The history behind this all goes back to the 24 Hours of Le Mans. In the old days, drivers would start across from their vehicle on the front straight. They'd fire a gun, you would run, get into the car. What the Porsche engineers discovered is that when you had a true manual transmission, you could get it into gear, fire it up, and get going all in one action, rather than trying to do everything with one hand. That's smart, that's tradition, that's heritage. That's why I love the 911, that's why I love Porsche. Steering wheel, right out of a race car. I love the way they hollow out the spokes, very tastefully done. You have your mode selector to go into your different drive modes, Sport, Sport Plus. You have your paddles, metal on the back of the steering wheel to go up and down that 7-speed DCT transmission known as the PDK. No flat bottom, and I just love the way that the wheel is attached to the steering column. It's a manual tilt and telescoping steering wheel. There's those paddles, and then the dash looks just like the originals. You got that nice large tack analog, clear as day in the center. You have your speedometer, and then you're gonna have your different temperature gauges, and I love the way they integrated a nice little digital display, which you could toggle through all sorts of information. Right now, I can look at my boost gauge, coolant temp, you got your fuel gauge. I mean, Porsche does it like none other, and at a price point that I'm telling you, with 10,000 miles and this thing looking brand new, why don't we go ahead, let's check out the frunk and see how much room we have while you're going on your trip. All right guys, so one of the negatives of having the engine out back is there's no trunk, but you got the frunk up front. I popped it from the interior. All you're gonna do is you just slide and lift. Look at the amount of space that you have in there. You have over 4 cubic feet of space, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot of room, but you know what? On a sports car with supercar performance, this is a lot of room. This makes this car so usable, so versatile. But let's get to the best part. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take this 911 Turbo for a spin. All right guys, we're in the 2017 Porsche 911 Turbo. First time I've ever been behind the wheel of a 911 Turbo. I would have preferred a coupe, but hey, I'm not gonna pass the opportunity to do this Guards Red cream puff of a convertible, but let's see how acceleration goes. Second gear on throttle, wow! Oh my God! This thing could almost be a time machine. It's deceptively quick. You got those twin turbos building boost very quickly, all-wheel drive, keeping you planted. I love the way everything is laid out in here. Absolutely spot on the money. All those years of racing the 911 has wound up in this car. And it's kind of cool that we're doing this turbo, because guess what? For 2021, we got an all-new 911 turbo. But I don't know. I think for the price point of this, if you want a convertible with so few miles on it, I'm telling you, when I say it's a cream puff, it's a cream puff. It's in great shape. Perfect shape, to be honest with you. Steering wheel just is the right size, right thickness. You don't need a flat bottom. You got your mode selector knob really nicely located. Right now we have it in Sport Plus mode. I'm gonna leave it in there for the whole drive. And I'm gonna shift manually with the paddles just because that's how I like to be a little bit more engaged in the drive. Looking out over the frunk, it's great. It kind of just waterfalls down in the center. You got the two high peaks of the fenders. Obviously with the convertible top down, visibility is not an issue whatsoever. Seats feel good. Not a lot of bolstering. I think just enough. We'll find out a little bit in a few seconds, but the shifts are very, very quick. On throttle, here we go. I'm telling you right now, this thing is so smooth. So smooth. Now, I would like a little bit more, personally, I would like a little bit more sound out of that flat 6. But at the end of the day, that's something that's easily rectifiable and fixed with a custom exhaust. I think if I was gonna go 911 personally, it would have to be a GT3. And if I didn't want a manual, then it would be a GT3 RS. I mean, to have a red line of 9,000 RPM, that to me sounds spot on the money. But super smooth. You have that adaptive suspension, giving you great ride quality. And you just get it. When you drive one of these 911s, you just get it because it's set up so perfect to go do a track day. You can take this convertible, go do a track day, autocross event, or you know what? Rip up the twisties by where you live. There's quite a few buttons on the center console, but it's arranged in a very smart way. I like the way it has the ventilated seats, as it should at this price point. The dash is nice and low. Just overall, a really pleasant experience in this thing. All right, guys, acceleration from a dead stop. On throttle, here we go. Yeah! If you've ever been to the circus when you were a kid and you saw the guy get fired out of a cannon, that's this guy right here. One has two thumbs and feels like it's fired out of a cannon. This guy. Unbelievable. Not even a whimper of traction loss, and you are just off like a rocket. That tach, I'm glad it's right in the center because it just full speed ahead, goes right to the 7,500 RPM red line, and you need to be on your money if you're shifting with these paddles. PDK though does an amazing job shifting for you if you don't want to go the route where you're not having to use the paddles yourself. But it's nice to have those options, and it's such a sweet transmission. I mean, it is one of the best, maybe the best DCT transmission ever available. All right, guys, let's see how she handles on throttle. Here we go. Wow. Into this turn. Woo! Wow! The steering is so direct, so on point. It's an interesting driving experience having all that weight out back. It's taken me a little bit to get used to compared to if this was a mid-engine or a front engine, but boy, that all-wheel drive grips like Gorilla Glue on this asphalt. And the crazy thing is, it's just so smooth. It really, really is. But you feel like you're on the Millennium Falcon because everything just becomes a blur as you're driving. That's how quick this thing is. Crazy, just crazy how fast. All right, guys, once again, on throttle, here we go. Whoa! Wow! Look at this. Woohoo! Getting on those binders, those large calipers, the size of Bozo the Clown's shoes. Here we go. Nice. Super smooth. Great feedback coming to the wheel as to be expected. with the all-wheel drive, I mean, Porsche does an amazing job with their all-wheel drive system. It's just crazy how composed the car is. Being a convertible, yeah, you're getting the wind noise, but that's about it. There's nothing else you're experiencing, like shakes or rattle. I mean, this thing is so tight. I love the little burbles I'm getting from the exhaust. I just wish it was a little bit louder. Just a little bit louder. That's all. All right, guys, here we go. On throttle, yeah! Woo! It's like a roller coaster ride. On the brakes, Jesus! Ow! Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You really feel like you're in a roller coaster ride. I almost want to hold my hands up, but obviously I'm driving. It's just crazy how fast you go from corner to corner. It's like a puma leaping from one rock to another. That's how fast you just get from corner to corner. It's like you need to be really spot on the money with where you're looking, because you get to the next turn just crazy fast. It's nuts. All right, guys, here we go. Let's see how we do in a right-hand turn on throttle. Look at this, look at this. Fire away, yeah! Woo! So smooth, so very, very smooth. But hopefully this gave you a nice understanding of why, yes, Porsche 911 Turbo is a sports car, but it has supercar performance, and this is a convertible with that all-wheel drive. But we need to get back to Ferrari Tampa Bay, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another great day here at Ferrari Tampa Bay. I definitely got to thank Matt, Ryan, and the rest of the crew getting us access to this 911 Turbo, the first 911 Turbo we've been able to feature here on Rady's Rides. Such a wonderful piece of history, such performance that, like I said, this is technically a sports car, but it has supercar performance. And to be able to pick one up that is in this condition and guards red sounds like a no-brainer to me. But if it's cars like these that you want to keep seeing on the channel, cars that could go 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description, get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Gotta get it at the Big as McGee. He's had a hard time filming because he's drooling all over these Ferraris. But thank you, Tom, for sucking it up. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.